Hey everyone and welcome back to Final Fantasy XIV, where it's time for more Masked Carnivale. Moving on to rounds 9 to 16, starting with To Kill a Mockingslime. For this one, we're going to want at least one spell, one basic GCD spell from each element: fire, water, wind, earth, lightning, fire, ice. I said fire twice. Our primary target is this giant slime, Guimauve. But as we're fighting Guimauve, who doesn't really seem to have any weaknesses, we just gotta do damage over time. Make sure Golden Tongue doesn't go off so it doesn't get the buff. As we are fighting it, there will be 6 different elemental puddings that appear around the arena, one at a time with each of the 6 elemental weaknesses. First we got our wind weakness, kill it and move back to fighting Guimauve. And it's just going to proceed like this, a fairly simple fight. Just taking down Guimauve slowly, little by little, and as we're doing that, the adds will come in to make sure that we have each of the elemental weaknesses. You can kill them with the other elements, of course, but it'll be much slower. Yeah, see, look at that. One hit from fire and almost one-shot the gelato. Alright, from here, it's just gonna be basically this. Guimauve does have an ability which, as you have noticed, is dropping those big puddles around the arena. I forget exactly what happens if you step in them. I'm just going to say don't step in them. I assume they either slow you down or do damage over time to you, or possibly even freeze you in place. Just, yeah, don't mess with it. Not worth it. Alright, we are over halfway done. There's not really much else to add, so I'll just go ahead and let you enjoy the rest of the fight. Alright, and that clears it. Not a hard fight, a little bit on the slow side. It's just testing that you know to use all 6 elements against adds as you go through the fight. Alright, next up we have... Number 10 is going to be A Little Night Music. And this one is the novice target for this week, which means just clearing it is enough to get the rewards. Alright, we fight Chrome Doob, who is going to be a Knights type enemy. This is going to be the first Masked Carnivale stage, which actually gives an achievement if we perform specific tasks. There are 3, I believe, in total, Masked Carnivale stages in this set of 25 that comes with the Realm Reborn chapter of Blue Mage. Three Masked Carnivale stages which will actually give us achievements if we do the right things. Chrome Doob has an ability called King's Will, and every time it successfully goes off, you can interrupt it. Chrome Doob will grow in size. To get the achievement, we want Chrome Doob to use King's Will 3 times. I believe if his health gets too low, he will stop trying to use it, so if you're getting a little bit low on HP, like if he's getting to like under half health, maybe slow down your DPS for a little bit just to give him time to use it a 3rd time if he hasn't already. We could interrupt this, but yeah, going for that achievement, so letting him get bigger. Of course, every time he gets bigger, he gets a defense up and also a damage up, so if you're not going for the achievement, don't let it happen. Just don't let it happen. It won't be good for you. The achievement's for still being able to beat him despite him getting stronger. Other than that, it's a fairly standard fight. Nothing too interesting about it. He's using King's Will for the last time. Gonna let him use that before we continue damaging him. And once he has hit his full size after 3 casts, he will start trying to use Black Nebula. I believe if Black Nebula goes off, it is a wipe, so definitely interrupt that ability. And he will only try to use Black Nebula once he has grown in size 3 times. And it looks like he really wants to use it. He's gonna keep trying until it finally goes off, so we're gonna have to stay on top of that. Alright, nothing too much else to say about this fight, so let's go ahead and finish it off. Alright, and there he goes, and that should give us the achievement. Any moment now. The harder they fall. Excellent. Next up, stage 11. Alright, for stage 11, what do we have here? Some like it excruciatingly hot. Alright, for this one, the gimmick here is, once we have engaged these bombs in battle, they will all begin casting fulmination. If fulmination is allowed to go off, they will explode, wiping us instantly. We can interrupt their fulmination cast not by using an interrupt or anything, but by just hitting them. Simply hitting them is enough to interrupt the cast. So the ideal strategy here is to hit the enemies simultaneously with AoE abilities, in order to make sure that both enemies' casts are being constantly reset. Now that said, we have quite a bit of time before fulmination goes off, so we can make use of our Sonic Boom to use that wind weakness and kill them really fast. And Feather Rain is also a pretty good ability for this one since it's AoE wind. Alright, next up we have 4 arena gas bombs, scattered all across the arena. Same as the first round, but now there are 4 of them and there are boxes in the way. The real trick here is trying to keep them all together so that you can continue to AoE them and not have to rapidly swap your attention from one to the next. Thankfully, again, the fulmination's enough time that I was able to justify taking a little bit of time to use Sonic Boom in order to get some extra damage in. Also use Sticky Tongue as a good way to gather them all together so that your AoEs can hit all at once. My AoEs were just largely on cooldown. I was waiting for Feather Rain. Not too hard of a fight as long as you make sure to keep an eye on all of the bombs. Alright, next up is stage 12. What do we got here? This is going to be the Plantum of the Opera. Alright, what do we have here? So first off we want to cast Ice Spikes, because the moment we engage these arena roselets in battle, they're all going to attack us, the Ice Spikes will reflect their attacks back at them and instantly kill them. Nice and easy. We want to make use of that for the next round. This is the real fight. The Hydnora, I believe, is weak to water. And generally it's just a pretty standard enemy. It looks like a giant, like, plant golem. It's got a bulb on it. It looks like a Bulbasaur almost. Big thing to watch out for with the Hydnora is inflammable fumes. Stunning it with a bomb toss will interrupt the inflammable fumes. If that is allowed to go off, it will do massive damage to you. When Spore Sack is used, it will summon a bunch of Arena Roselets. We can deal with them the same way we dealt with them in the first round. Remembering to use Ice Spikes me. Come on past me, use your Ice Spikes so the Roselets can— oh, I must have already done it without noticing. How did I miss? I was watching my own actions and failed to notice that I used Ice Spikes. Anyways, we resolve it in the same way we did in the first round, and that is with Ice Spikes to let the Roselets kill themselves. We have fairly standard fight, just dodge the AoEs, block inflammable— what's it called? Oh god, inflammable fumes, that's how you say it, with bomb toss, and use Ice Spikes to kill the Roselets. Not too hard of a fight. And of course, it's weak to water, so prefer using water abilities where possible. Alright, that's about it for this one, so I'll leave you to enjoy the fight, and I'll see you back at stage 13. Alright, next up is stage 13. What do we got this time around? Beauty and a Beast. Alright, let's take a look. Okay, we've got an Arena Hagenti and 2 Arena Vodarigas. The Vodarigas are petrified? Interesting. Oh, they're petrified for a good 50 seconds? Okay. So I take it we want to kill them before they become unpetrified. And if they get unpetrified by us taking too long, we're probably gonna be in for a bad time. Fair enough. No particular weaknesses, so we'll just do some AoEs or some heavy hits to take care of them. I think we've got this. We're doing enough damage and there's enough time left that I think we can take care of both of them in the time limit. So it might actually be a little close. 12 seconds left. I probably could have handled this a bit better with better use of AoEs, probably. Ooh, that was— for one hit, that was pretty bad. I don't want to know what would have happened if it stayed alive for longer. On to Act 2. And this boss is Carmilla, also known as basically Halicarnassus from Hake Manor Hard. If you remember that boss, what happened was Halicarnassus eventually summoned an ad, and if we didn't kill the ad in time, she would eat the ad and do massive damage to us. The more health the ad had, the more damage she did to us. In this case, we actually can kill the ad. In Hake Manor Hard, we couldn't. We could only get it down to 0.1%. But this time around, when the ad spawns, we will actually be able to kill it. Other than that, it's a fairly standard succubus-type boss. It's got Beguiling Mist, which we can interrupt. If we don't interrupt it, we'll be seduced and drawn in close. It can cause hysteria on us, which will cause us to run around in a panic. It's got gaze abilities. It's a fairly standard succubus boss. We've dealt with them before, especially in Hokke Manor and Hokke Manor Hard, so should basically know how to deal with those. Oh, it's the succubus. Succubus ad that has beguilingness. Got it. Anyways, I'll go ahead and leave you here since this is not too hard of a fight, and see you in the next one. Alright, stage 14 is going to be Blobs in the Woods. Ooh, the challenge for this one, I believe, is don't take any damage. Fun. For this one, you definitely want to have the Loom ability equipped. If you don't have Loom, you're going to be in a bit more of trouble. This will be a much harder fight without Loom. What we're going to do is we're going to fight the arena jams, kill them, and once they're dead, get behind the walls, because they will soon explode, and if we're not protected by the walls, we will die instantly. Okay, not too difficult. But there is a second act. And the second act is where this will get a little bit more difficult. Alright, for this one. Now, when we fight the arena jams, they will retaliate by giving us heavy. A rather intense heavy. Which makes it so that we basically can't move. Like, I'm not kidding, you basically can't move with this heavy debuff on. So in order to protect yourself from that big blast attack they do when they die, you gotta use Loom to jump around the arena and dodge their attacks. Okay, let's get over there, get behind the wall. One left. And once you die, and we safely get behind the wall, we've cleared it. Alright, second to last for the day is stage 15. What do we got for stage 15? This is the Me Nobody Nodes. I remember this one being a little bit slower. Ah, yes, this one has a rather interesting gimmick we need to deal with. So, we've got an Allegan node, probably extracted from the Binding Coils. And it functions just like the ADS nodes you'll see in the Binding Coils, or at least in the early Binding Coils. It's got high voltage, which we can interrupt to prevent us from receiving electric damage and paralysis. It's a fairly standard fight, or so it seems, except it summons an Arena Shabti. And the Arena Shabti has a 20-second massive damage up buff, to the point that if it hits us, it will one-shot us. The trick is to put it to sleep. Once it's asleep, simply wait until that buff wears off, right now, and now we can fight it and kill it. Sleep is useful. In fact, sleep is actually very, very useful in general. I've been saying this for a long time, but sleep is casters and healers' equivalent of stunning enemies to interrupt their attacks. You're not normally going to be leaving enemies asleep when you use sleep on them. You're using it to interrupt their attacks. There is a dungeon in Dawntrail that actually strongly encourages you to use sleep on an enemy, because if you don't, it's going to be a far more tedious and far more difficult fight. And people are actually using sleep and repose nowadays, and it's so cool to see. I've been vindicated. I was right all along, and nobody believed me until now. Anyways, once the Shop 2's damage up buff is gone, we can kill it quite easily. Don't have to worry about that damage up buff leading to one-shots on us. Still want to get rid of it so it's not causing us problems. And then from there, we can deal with the Bestial Node. I don't think... there's one more mechanic that'll come up in a little bit. Yeah, I had a feeling I was going to get hit by that. I moved too late to dodge. Also could have dodged a lot more intelligently than that, but oh well. Alright, next mechanic. 2 arena serpents will spawn eventually, about halfway through the fight. They're not too hard to kill, but when they do die, something interesting will happen. You may want to find some way to fight them at range and prevent them from following you. Because once they die, and you better hope they're standing next to the Bestial Node when they die, but when they die, they inflict a vulnerability up debuff on everybody nearby them. You, the other arena serpent, and also the Bestial Node. Great for us doing damage to the Bestial Node and speeding up our kill significantly. Very bad if we get hit by the vulnerability up and then get hit by other attacks. Let's hope we don't get hit since we got hit by both of those vulnerability ups. Anyways, I think that's about it for mechanics for this fight, so let's do a DPS race and see who wins. There we go, and got Smokin' 4 for clearing 15 stages of the Masked Carnivale. Alright, last stage of Masked Carnivale for today is stage 16. Sunset Bull-evard. Ooh, this one's a little bit tough. It's probably a good idea to have Diamondback and Loom equipped. We have 2 Arena Cyclopses. They are very, very slow. They're also not very strong. Well, they're not... That's an outright lie. Why did I say they're not very strong? They're not very durable. They don't have a lot of health, is what I meant to say. They're definitely quite strong because if they get in range of you, they will one-shot you. There's no way to avoid this other than... keep running. Don't let them get close to you or you will die. Thankfully, we can attack one and leave the other one kind of resting. And once we have finished the first one, we can go after the second one and clear it out. Just don't let them get close to you or you will die. It's a one-shot. Diamondback might be able to save you, but that's an emergency option. And there is a far better use for Diamondback a little bit later, in the next act. Alright, we have Tikbalang, a giant Minotaur type enemy. We've fought these before. We fought them in Halatali Hard. We fought them in Orumvale. They've got fairly standard mechanics. A bunch of cleaves, a bunch of interesting AoEs. Oh, but this one can also summon those Arena Cyclopses that one-shot us. So, yeah. That makes this a bit more difficult, especially since a good chunk of the arena is untouchable since it will damage us. Okay, well, the Cyclops is dead at least. 111-ton swing is just a big circle AoE we need to get away from. Any attack that is named Swing is going to be a circle AoE. Anything that's named Slash is going to be a forward cleave. And the greater the number of tonnage on the attack, the bigger the attack will be. Eventually, it gets a permanent damage up buff, which is terrifying. Then it heavies us, and then it uses 1,111 ton swing. A nigh undodgeable attack. If it is on the edge of the arena, there may be a small save spot we can get to with Loom, but if not, Diamondback is going to save your life. You definitely want Diamondback on you to protect you against that attack, because otherwise there is very little chance of survival. Oh right, and the wave attacks is going to be a series of... I guess the wave attack is just a big, like, donut AoE? Combined with a forward cleave. That's what it looked like, at least. Alright, well, almost done here. Okay, yeah, it's a cleave followed by a donut AoE. That's what the wave attacks are. Fair enough. But yeah, just about done here, and that is going to finish our Masked Carnivale for today. We are 2/3 of the way done. So, next time on Final Fantasy XIV, I believe we are going to be heading on to stages 17 to 24 of the Masked Carnivale. I will see everyone next time as we approach the end. See everyone next time for that.